AITA for kicking my mom out after she tried to take my inheritance while pretending to protect me? I wasn't supposed to see the letter. It was buried in a pile of unopened mail on the kitchen counter, stuffed between a Home Depot coupon and an insurance renewal notice. If my mom hadn't left it there while I was making coffee, I never would have noticed my name typed neatly on the envelope in bold, official font. It wasn't from a debt collector or the IRS or even my job. It was from a law firm in another state, the same state where my late grandmother had lived. When I opened it, my hands started shaking. It was about my inheritance. Apparently, my grandmother had left me a substantial amount of money, enough to pay off my student loans, buy a car, maybe even a house. But there was a problem. According to the letter, my mother had already contacted them to claim the inheritance on my behalf because she was concerned I wasn't ready to handle it responsibly. That night, I confronted her. I asked why she didn't tell me Grandma left me anything. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Because you'd waste it. I'm your mother. It's my job to protect you from yourself. I'm 27. I work full-time. I pay my own bills. I've never been reckless with money. Yet here she was treating me like I was 12. She claimed she planned to hold the money for me and release it when I was more mature. I asked how she planned to decide that, and she said, "I kid you not, when I feel you've learned some humility. To understand why this hit so hard, you need context. My mom has always been controlling. Growing up, I couldn't choose my own clothes, friends, or hobbies without her input. In college, she constantly called my professors to check in. She even tried to show up unannounced during a job interview, once because she wanted to make sure they were treating me with respect. So this inheritance wasn't just money. It was my first real chance at freedom, and she was trying to snatch it away. The next day, I called the law firm myself. The attorney told me, in a voice dripping with discomfort, that my mother had attempted to have the money transferred into a trust solely under her name. They had refused because the will specifically named me as the beneficiary. The lawyer also mentioned my mom had claimed I was mentally unfit to handle large sums of money. I was so furious I nearly dropped my phone. That night, I told her point blank, "You don't get to decide what happens with my inheritance." She went off. She screamed about how she sacrificed her whole life for me, that I owed her everything, and that if I took the money, it meant I was abandoning her. The last straw was when she said, "If you take that money, you're not my child anymore." I told her she had 1 week to either apologize and back off, or move out of the apartment we'd been sharing. Yes, she moved in with me last year after losing her job. She laughed in my face and said I'd never actually kick my own mother out. I decided right then I would. A few days later, I found out she had gone behind my back and contacted the attorney again, trying to get access. This time she claimed I had a gambling addiction. For the record, I've never gambled a day in my life. That was it. I told her she had 48 hours to pack her things. When I came home from work the next day, she had trashed my living room. Papers everywhere, my framed photos knocked over. She was sitting on the couch crying, telling me I was ruining the family and turning into a heartless monster. I stayed calm and told her I'd arranged for a friend to help her move her stuff. That's when she screamed, "You'll regret this when I'm gone," and slammed the bedroom door. Apparently, my mom called every relative we have and told them I was kicking her out for no reason and stealing her retirement money. Suddenly my phone was blowing up with texts from aunts, uncles, and cousins telling me I was a horrible person. Not one of them bothered to ask for my side of the story. The day she moved out, I got a call from the law firm again. Turns out, my grandmother anticipated this exact situation. There was an entire section of the will stating that if my mom ever tried to claim my inheritance, she would be permanently disqualified from receiving her own share, which meant my mom had just cost herself a huge chunk of money. When my mom found out, she lost it. She said I set her up and made her look bad to Grandma, who's been dead for 2 years. She demanded I give her half of my inheritance to make things right. I refused. She then posted this long, emotional Facebook rant about being betrayed by your own blood. A bunch of family members shared it. People I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly had opinions about my selfishness. Then something surprising happened. My mom's own sister, my aunt, called me privately. She told me Grandma had warned her years ago that my mom might try to control my finances. My aunt said she was proud of me for standing my ground, and that she'd help me deal with the rest of the family. Last week, my mom texted me saying she had nowhere to go and could end up on the street. When I offered to pay her first month's rent at an apartment if she agreed to stop contacting the lawyer, she refused. She said she wouldn't live anywhere beneath her standards, and that I owed her a house. So here I am. My mom is no longer speaking to me. Half my family thinks I'm a monster, and I have more financial freedom than I've ever had. But I can't shake the guilt. I know I protected myself from her manipulation. I know she crossed so many lines, but part of me still wonders, AITA for kicking out my mom after she tried to take my inheritance?